and I want to talk about crypto and why it's so volatile, or we could say crypto, why you got to be so volatile. Because when you're jumping into this, or if you've even been in it for a while, it can drive you crazy in terms of the roller coaster. But there's reasons why that's the case, and that's going to change over time. So, disclaimer: knowledge is power. You're way too smart to consider me a financial advisor. So, even though I may say crazy things in here, don't go jump off a cliff. So one of the main things that makes a cryptocurrency different from a stock is, yes, they're both affected by global events and other industries and so on and so forth. But we're still in price discovery for Bitcoin, which is the biggest and most important cryptocurrency. So altcoins, even big ones, like Ethereum, that has a large market cap, but this is all very new. They're new, and so they're volatile. People jump in and invest. They don't really know what they're doing. Then they get scared when the market goes down. Governments are afraid. Other industries are going to be disrupted. So it's a new asset class. Everyone's finding their feet, and it's new. So that's one of the big reasons. It's still bleeding edge. Visionaries and nerds and hustlers, and increasingly big banks and institutions are jumping in. But seriously, it's people like us who are interested in making money, who understand technology, who are looking ahead to the next big wave of change that we know is coming our way. And that's not everybody. In fact, that's probably less than 10, 20% of the population. So it's bleeding edge. Lack of regulation and centralization. So the thing is, we in the world of blockchain, you want to get away from decentralization, or excuse me, from centralization. You want to get to decentralization. But the fact is, regulation, when done right, is great for crypto. Greater acceptance, less volatility, and eventually higher prices. So I'm not calling for the government to come in and take over crypto like they're doing in China. That would be terrible, seriously scary. But we do need, in our case, where I live in the United States, we need our government to accept blockchain, which they have so far, and then provide the right direction and regulation. Another big reason is that there's still not a whole lot of crypto out there in terms of it being widely accepted by billions and billions of people. And so there's a fairly limited supply, and then there's some really big buyers. Some of the blockchains, like 60% of all the coins or the tokens, are owned by just one group of people or one person. So we call that well manipulation. Someone who owns, thousands and thousands of, let's say, Ethereum, could go in and sell them, and that's going to scare the market and cause the price to go down. And we've seen enough evidence to suggest that often they call it shaking out the weak hands. You shake the tree, and everyone who has weak hands falls out. So the big investors will go in, do things that cause the price to drop, shake out the weak hands. All the small investors, people like you and me, get scared. Oh, I lost 30% of my value. I'm going to sell it. Then when it hits a new low, they just buy it back. So we have to watch out for well games. Given the limited supply, some entities have major holdings in the crypto and can, for example, or thus influence the rise and fall of crypto markets by selling or buying more of the crypto. This adds to the overall volatility. So don't buy things you can't afford to hold on to. Buy it and hold it and let the whales play their games. In the long run, if you're you're investing in the right blockchain technology, it's going to go up. That's the way that I look at it. So let's jump into some fun crypto news. First of all, Bitcoin wasn't really that rocked by the whole Russian war that's going on. It went up. Russia could even use cryptocurrency to blunt the force of US sanctions. That's not a good thing from my perspective. However, we see blockchain technology working. We see cryptocurrency working for the Ukrainians and for the Russians. So when people's country, when their money goes to pot and they're struggling, they can turn to the cryptocurrency. So really, in a way, crypto's proving its use of case. And about 50, just under $50 million has been sent over in blockchain technology, peer-to-peer lending, to people in the Ukraine to support them. So that's pretty cool. Another thing that pops up here that's kind of bullish is that Bitcoin analysts are looking at how oil is fluctuating, and they're realizing that Bitcoin is going to have a connection to that in the future. It says here, in recent months, Bitcoin has been falling in response to hawkish announcements from the Fed. So Bitcoin prices dropped because they're going to raise interest rates. A question some crypto analysts are starting to ask is if Bitcoin might decouple from stocks. Fancy way of saying even when the stock market's going down, Bitcoin may not go down. Usually they're coupled. Right now, historically, when stocks go down, Bitcoin goes down. And they might start trading more like a safe haven asset, similar to gold. That is, an asset whose price might benefit or even just hold its value when stocks are selling off. So this, many people have speculated that this will happen. It's not happening full blown yet, but these events lately are indicating that this is going to be the case, that this is the trend that we're going to see. And if so, that's going to cause massive value to a massive amount of value to be added to the Bitcoin blockchain. And then finally, just in broad news, crypto assets catapult in South Korea, valued above $45.9 billion. So we just see so much more of a wider adoption of these technologies. And although it's still so new, we don't know exactly how it's going to affect all these different parts of society and the economy. It's happening, whether people understand it or not. So let's do some altcoin news. This is kind of the fun part. Layer one blockchains, which I talked a lot about in my first two videos, because I think that's where the money's going to be made here in the next 5 and 10 years. They're not going away. In fact, we just don't know which one's the fastest horse yet. But in this Motley Fool article that came out this week, it talks about the fact that there's been sustained momentum starting in the crypto sector, and it's been these layer ones, in particular Solana, Avalanche, and Phantom, all of which I think are great blockchains. I'm not invested in Avalanche or Phantom. I wish I had bought them like anything else a year or more ago. Phantom's very interesting. Avalanche is something that I'm looking at potentially purchasing, and or Phantom as a hedge against Solana. And Solana is what I've invested in as a hedge against Ethereum. So I own more Ethereum than Solana, but Bitcoin, Ethereum, and Solana are my three personal largest investments. But Avalanche and Phantom are also, all of these are layer ones. We just don't know which one's going to explode, but Ethereum and Solana look the strongest according to my research. With that said, Terra Luna is just absolutely amazing. It's fascinating. To explain it in a nutshell is that you have the Luna token, the coin. You can buy it just like you can buy other cryptocurrencies, and it goes up in value, but it's tethered to its own stable coin that's worth $1 all the time. And so it's security because you can invest in Luna and use it as collateral and make money, and put that into Terra and have it tethered to the dollar, or have it connected to the dollar. So that, though, is exactly the challenge with it. Why am I not all in on Phantom? Well, the government is looking at stable coins, and that's the biggest threat to the US dollar. So the challenge is this great ecosystem that's set up is threatening the government, and I don't know how that. None of us know how that's going to play out in terms of regulation. So very cool. We'll stay posted on that. Terra up against stiff resistance. Luna downside remains significant. Simply says here, Luna price recovery from the wormhole debacle continues. The wormhole was a way to take money from over on the Solana blockchain network and send it over to Luna. You can do all kinds of amazing things with DeFi or decentralized finance, but the wormhole got hacked and they lost a lot of money. And investors came in and provided the money to make up for the customers who lost their money, but that still wasn't a good thing. Terra also faces a bullish breakout setup, but a conservative approach if the sellers resume control. So this article is a little old. Luna did rocket up. It was very bullish. So right now, Luna is up quite a bit in the last week. But once again, this whole video is about volatility. It's probably going to dump again. So if you're interested in it, keep an eye. There's going to be good price points to get in at. Excuse me. Solana price eyes $150 as Sol's 25% jump this week puts double bottom in play. Double bottom just means it comes down, there's a bottom, comes up, there's another little bottom, and often that means that it's going to skyrocket. I like Solana. I think buying it anywhere under $100 is a good buy. I think Solana is going to be worth $400 or $500 per coin, according to my research here in the next 6 months to a year minimum, or maximum rather. And by 2030, so roughly 7 years from now, 8 years from now, I think Solana is going to be worth thousands of dollars per coin. So if you can buy it and hold on long enough, it's seems like a really safe buy. Now let's look at the cryptocurrency prices by market cap. Bitcoin in the last 7 days jumped 8%. We have Ethereum had jumped 4.9%. I'm just going to look at the week. We had Tether, which is always going to be at $1. That's what its job is. That's a stable coin we've talked about. BNB, the Binance coin, 9% up. USDC, once again, another stable coin. XRP up by 5.7%. Terra up 42%. I mean, if you put $100 in Terra last week, you made a chunk of change onto that, $50 or whatever, $40. And then jumping down here, it's a little hard to see because my screen's covering up, but you have Solana up 2.7% in 7 days, Cardano 2.4%, Avalanche 1.9%. So the market's all over the place. Talk about volatility. This is a ugly time to be looking at it all, but it's a great time to buy. These layer one blockchains are on a discount right now. You start clicking on the things, you'll start seeing how much they've dropped in the last 2 or 3 months. So, wow. My voice is tired after a long day. So last couple of slides here. Am I buying crypto right now? Heck yes. Am I dollar cost averaging into, or what am I dollar cost averaging into? I bought Bitcoin most recently, and I bought Solana within the last month or two. Like I said earlier, I'm interested in Avalanche, Terra Luna, Cardano, these other layer one smart contract platforms, or SCPs. I'm going to look more closely at those. I've held Cardano. I traded it for a profit. So I guess I shorted it. Sorry, Cardano people. I love Cardano. I think it's great. I just knew that it was going to go down, or I felt strongly it was going to. And if you don't know what you're doing, but you know you want to have a finger, a toe dipped in the game, then you're going to want to stack sats. And that's just a way of saying buy some Bitcoin. Satoshis are fractionalized little bits of Bitcoin. So for every dollar you put in, you're getting a great deal on Bitcoin compared to what it's going to cost 5 or 10 years from now. Metaverse, I have been looking into it. The metaverse plays just seem too risky. There's too many unknowns. So we'll talk more about that in a future one. I'm tired, but I had fun making this video, and I hope that you learned something, or at least stimulated some of your thoughts, and you can go out and do some of your own research. And with that said, thanks for watching. Haven't really shared these videos widely. If you like it though, send over whatever video you like to a friend. I'm always interested in feedback and learning along with you all. So take care.